Yeah, he did a great job with it. I totally agree. Let's talk about what you were doing that night. You're going to work the pay-per-view opener that night. It's a traditional Survivor Series elimination match where we would see you teaming with your pal Ron Simmons. You're still called the Acolytes, but you're not necessarily closely associated with the Undertaker at this point. But you're going to team with the Dudleys, and you guys will be taking on the Headbangers, D'Lo Brown, and Godfather. We're still a little bit away, maybe 2 months away from the Acolyte Protection Agency, or the APA, and that really sort of turns things around. Are you feeling any pressure at this point? Like, if the Ministry of Darkness and your association with the Acolytes seem to have moved on and that's no longer a priority, but you're still sort of painting yourself up with Ron and you're going through the motions, but it doesn't feel like you have anything to really sink your teeth into. Now, luckily, we know the APA idea is coming around very quickly, a couple of months from now. But in this, we'll call it lame duck period. Did you feel to yourself, damn, here we go again? Like, it feels like this happened once before with the new Blackjacks, right?
Yeah, it did. And that I knew they were treating me and Ron a little bit differently than me and Barry. And I don't know why they would. That's something for them. I can't read their mind as to why they would, but I knew they had some type of plans with me and Ron. I could just tell they didn't know what to do. You know, that's a big difference. You know, I could tell how liked we are. And plus, I'm tagging with, good Lord, this legend, this pillar of our industry in Ron Simmons. So is Barry Windham, by the way. And that didn't work, but I felt pretty good about this. I felt pretty good about being out there with Ron. I was sitting there on a contract, for the first time. And so I actually had something. I believe I had a contract at that time. Maybe I didn't. Maybe, yeah, I did. I did. Yes. So that's a little bit different, but still that thing can be done in 90 days. That contract, this contract is very, very one-sided, those old contracts, even though the money was legitimate and Vince paid you a lot more than the contract said he had to pay you. But I felt pretty good about being out there with Ron, even though they didn't have anything for us. I really kind of figured out they would. Wasn't positive about it, so there was a little apprehension, but I was having a good time, man. We were having so much fun on the road. The boys were fun. The business was freaking on fire, starting to get there. It was a good time.
Hey, I know that we're sort of repeating the story because I think you've told us before, but I think it's worth mentioning because we're talking about sort of early to mid-November for the Survivor Series. And we know this is that lame duck period for the Acolytes. When you guys actually get to call yourself APA and you're less of this, I don't know, dark evil character and more of just the real John Layfield and the real Ron Simmons, wasn't that all sort of born out of like a celebration for your birthday? You guys were hanging out and drinking or something later in the month of November. Just a couple of weeks after this is where Vince sort of gets the idea to pivot the characters, right?
Yeah. I run into Vince in a bar. We had, I told this before. And yes, we were in Philadelphia and we're driving from Philadelphia down to Baltimore. And it was an afternoon show. Baltimore was the next day. And, I'm riding with the Godfather and Teddy Long and Ron Simmons as usual. And Godfather says, "Hey, smoke this." And I said, "Godfather, you don't smoke that stuff. We're drinking. It's my birthday." And he goes, "It's your birthday." I go, "You're right. It is." And I said, "Just make sure I get to my hotel room." So I said, "I'll do whatever you guys want. Just make sure I get to my hotel room." So we get down to Baltimore and I'm gone. All I need to do is go to bed. That's what I'm going to do. Last thing you want to do is go to the hotel TV bar, because when you go in there, somebody's going to see you and turn you into Vince, that, "Oh, so-and-so was there. He was drunk. He's inebriated, whatever else, acting like a fool," trying to get you in trouble. So we don't normally stay at the TV hotel. Don't go to TV hotel bars, nothing. Me and Ron always went to out of the way places. So we didn't get stooged and all that stuff. So, but I didn't have to get stooged. I ran right into Vince. So, I walk into me, that baritone voice. He goes, "It's your birthday." And I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Well, I'm going to buy you a shot of tequila." I said, "Well, that's the last thing I need, sir." But I sat there drinking. Next thing you know, I wake up. I got the horrible hangover from this tequila, which I don't like to drink tequila. But Vince was buying it. And if Vince could have bought me a cyanide, I'd have drank it. It's my birthday. You drink whatever people give you. And so I'm sitting there the next day. I go to the building. I've got this terrible hangover. They said, "Vince wants to see you." I said, "Oh, no, you got to be kidding me." I said, "All right." So I walk in there. Vince goes, "I'm going to put that on television." I said, "You're going to put what on television?" He He goes, you and Ron drinking. That's what men do. Men banter. They banter like that. That's what they do. And that's where he came up with the idea for the Acolyte Protection Agency. So it gets better. So I walk out. I couldn't find Ron when I went to the meeting because they want to see both of us because they're going to tell us about the thing. I just thought it was me by myself because I was in trouble. Anyway, they want to talk to me and Ron. Ron, I couldn't find him, so they called me in there by myself. I walk out and I walk right into Ron. Ron goes, so you still got a connection in Japan? We fired? And I said, no. I said, Vince wants us to drink on television. Ron looked at me and goes, that's the best idea I've ever heard. So that's how the APA was founded. Vince saw us sitting there just having fun, drinking, and thought, I'm going to put literally, Vince thought, I'm going to put that on television. And that's where the idea came up from.
John, do I have it right that this year on your birthday, you're going to be celebrating at WrestleCade in Winston-Salem? Do I have that right? November 29th. I can't believe this is real. You're going to spend your birthday with us at WrestleCade?
Yes, I am. I'm going to WrestleCade. I'm a last minute addition, and you're going to be there. We got a bunch of friends going to be there. We got some big stuff that we're doing, by the way. And yes, I'm going to be there at WrestleCade on my birthday. I'm excited about it. And by the way, there are people that have mentioned they brought up the APA and said they're the ones that created it. That may be true. I just know from the first time I heard about it was when Vince talked to me after seeing us, and that may be where Vince got the idea from. Maybe Vince came up from organically. I know I've heard some guys in the past say that they came up with the idea, and maybe they did.
Well, I can't wait that I didn't know until we started talking. It was like, hey, wait a minute. When is John's birthday in November?
Oh, the 29th of November. And I'm also the same birthday, but different century as Jerry Lawler, Dutch Mantell. They were born in the 1800s. And Dana Brooke.
Well, how about that?
That's right. There's there may be another one or two, but I know for sure Miss Brooke, because I always tell her happy birthday when it's around her birthdays. And the King and Dutch, my two buddies, they're born in the same year, I believe. King and Dutch. I share a birthday with,
I believe, is the year.
Yep, I share a birthday with some great folks. But yes, I'm going to WrestleCade. I hear they got a wrestling event that night. I may just go and clothesline a bunch of people.
Well,
it's my birthday. I'm going to clothesline the hell out of everybody.
We know what you're going to do. You're going to arrive, clothesline somebody, and leave.
That's right.
Grab that shirt, available now at somethingtowrestlemerch.com. You see John sporting it there. Hey, and if you're in the Winston-Salem area at the end of the month, November 29th, come see John at WrestleCade. He's going to be doing meet and greets that afternoon. I think you've got tickets on sale now. For more information, just go to WrestleCade.com. Hey, just in time for the holidays, what if you didn't have to worry about any of that credit card debt? If you're feeling stuck making the minimum payments and you don't want to have to put Christmas on a credit card, we can help at SaveWithConrad.com. We routinely help our listeners save hundreds of dollars a month. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.